The Canon R3, is it real?
Is it part of your imagination?
Is it just a dream camera?
Maybe it's just a fake leak that some Twitter guy put out.
Is it the successor to the 1DX series? Are we killing that off?
Whoa, DSLR might be dead.
Is it gone?
Who knows?
There's no way of telling.
Well, there is. It's called the future, and we'll get there eventually.
Absolutely. Today, Today, the question is, can me and Connor make a video
Yeah.
out of nothing? This is our challenge.
This is it. So, there's actually a leak, an official leak, link. There's an official leak by a supposedly credible leaker who's done some accurate stuff in the past around Canon cameras. He posted a picture of what's supposedly gonna be the Canon EOS R3.
Click.
We actually have been talking about leaks and rumors, not on this channel, but just in the community, about this supposed R1. So it's interesting that we're getting pictures of the R3 before that. But the only thing that we can really tell is that it does look like it's taking on that 1D body style with the built-in grip. I'm kind of a big fan of that.
Looks
actually.
pretty badass. It's kind of got like a carbon fiber-ish look to it on the grip.
Yeah.
And dude, that dual grip feel with the double shutter buttons.
When I had my EOS R, I had the battery grip, and honestly, it was like the most comfortable shooting I've ever done on a camera. And it's gonna be semi-similar to, it looks like potentially what the R3 size and stuff is going to be. That was actually one of the things that really bothered me about when I was using the 1DX Mark III, when I got my hands on it for just a brief moment. It was a little chunky because they had to fit a mirror in there. And also they had a mirror in there, and it was really dumb. I feel like
mirrors suck.
It felt like really old technology, and with a camera with really good specs. So I don't know why they even released it. They should have just made a mirrorless 1DX to begin with.
Yeah, and this might be it.
This could be it.
So let's see what this little headline says. Rumor, Canon will have the EOS, is it EOS or EOS or EOS?
If you ask Philip Bloom.
Philip Bloom.
I didn't forget your name. I just
We love Philip Bloom.
Philip Bloom. He says EOS.
EOS. I trust him more than anyone, even more than Canon.
But I'm gonna say EOS because I like being wrong.
And I'll just say OIS. So Canon will have the OIS R3, the new mirrorless camera, ready to launch at the Tokyo Olympics.
Or at least that's the rumor.
Right.
Which does make sense. That style of camera, like they tend to launch these professional photo body style cameras around big sports events because that's what they're mostly used for. For instance, you look at the Super Bowl, you look off on the sidelines, you see a whole bunch of little guys with their 1DXs.
Really tiny people.
But
huge cameras.
Huge lenses, like huge mega lenses. So that's honestly probably what they're gonna do here.
Says it will allegedly be mirrorless, yet be quite like the 1D series in terms of looks, which is obvious from the photos.
Now, one thing to note that's going to be different than the 1DX Mark III compared to the R3, if we're to believe the picture in the leak, is that it's gonna be RF, which is great. I don't know why we went EF on the other camera. I think RF is the future. It only makes sense that we do RF, and then if you really need EF lenses, you can just adapt to it.
Do you think the Canon C70 should have been RF?
100%. I think it's kind of a weird...
It was weird because it seemed like they're starting to move everything to RF.
Right.
But then now, like, the C70 and what other cameras that you've used?
C70, the C500 Mark II also is EF, and then also the C300 Mark III. I think they're on the third one. All of those came out really recently, and they're all EF instead of RF. I had a thought that maybe the reason why that's the case is because on the cinema cameras, a lot of cinema glass for Canon cameras is already EF, and it's also easier, I would assume, to switch from EF to PL mounts. So maybe that's why they didn't do RF on the cinema series. So since it has the cinema badge, like the C70 and all them.
Yeah.
But who knows? Or it's just Canon with their crafty marketing. They are really good at like selling you individual cameras for really niche things.
This article also notes these new potential lenses, which is the RF 400 2.8, the 600 f4 with stabilization. Holy crap.
Yeah, wow.
And-
Both of them have stabilization.
And the good thing is they're only going to be 12,000 and 13,000 respectively.
Right. So if you get both of them,
I'll probably buy them.
Yeah, of course. You just
I'll just use my Apple Watch, Apple Pay, put it on my card.
Easy. You get so many Apple credit points for that, probably.
Worth it. It's a good business write-off. It's a good financial decision.
Yeah.
And I need to be able to photograph birds from other cities in our area by staying indoors.
Absolutely. I'm sure they're going to be beasts of lenses. They're going to definitely, I mean, obviously, again, with the Olympics, they're probably releasing those for people who shoot the Olympics.
Right.
So that's not for normal people.
Dude, these things are huge. Oh my God. The article says, will inevitably require bracing. Yeah, you better be working out before you go shoot the Olympics.
Yeah, but beyond that, there's no real actual specs yet about the R3. I'm curious. I think it's probably going to be pretty similar to the 1DX Mark III specs, so we can infer that potentially it could shoot 5.7K RAW, which would be pretty sick, and or 6K RAW. Maybe they'll just go all the way up to that. I don't know if it'll have the R5 autofocus. That would be really great because the R5 autofocus is
It better, dude.
top of the line. Because that's one thing about the C70 that was kind of weird.
The autofocus is so hit or miss on that camera.
Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss, which is a shame because the cinema focus is really good normally. So I don't know what happened there, but
Let's check out the specs of the 1DXiii, which is $6,500 for a DSLR camera.
which I would imagine if it's gonna have similar specs, it's the same body style, it's mirrorless, that we could expect this camera to be about the same price.
Yeah. So the 1DXiii has a 20 megapixel sensor. That's interesting.
It's actually kind of less than I thought.
4K 60, 10-bit 422 internal, which is pretty cool. 20 frames per second photo burst mode.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, shoots 5.5K raw video.
5.5, I thought it was 5.7. So
Yeah.
I'm dumb sometimes.
You dumb. Big
Yeah.
dumb. Hopefully this camera has a higher megapixel count similar to the R5.
Yeah.
Especially, it's all gonna depend on its price for sure, but I think to make it better than the 1DXiii, we need that like big, like 40 to 45 megapixels, especially if you're geared for shooting things like Olympics. You're gonna want resolution.
But I can't guarantee, but I'm gonna guess that it's not gonna be more megapixels because they don't want it to eat into their R5 sales.
Right,
so
right,
their
right.
R5 will keep the 45 megapixel sensor.
Megapickles.
Lots of pickles.
That's what we're going for.
And I bet you, I bet the R3 is gonna have a 20 or 24 megapixel sensor for sure.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my guess. Especially if the 1DX Mark III has that. I didn't actually realize it was that low.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what the M50 has.
Oh my gosh. What if the R3 was like the size of the M50?
Yeah, so it's
a
like
puny
it looks
little
huge and it's actually like iPhone sized. Yeah, I think that's kind of this came out today, within hours of us recording this video. So no one really knows. It was just a random picture that someone posted. I'm sure he got that from somewhere he wasn't supposed to. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate you. And or it's just really smart Canon marketing.
Chris Chapterton says, this doesn't look like a believable rendering to me. Something about the R3 logo and the grip just seem off. If it's real, I would like to know the specs and price to see if there's any role it could serve, as I'm looking to buy a second R5 body.
Chris, you're the only one who wants to know the specs and the price. That's such a niche request. This guy already wants it. Shut up and take my money. He's like, I've seen a picture of it. That's good enough. Doesn't even have to work.
Oh my god.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I wonder how long we've been recording. 11 minutes?
11
Perfect.
minutes.
So thank you for watching this really informative video.
Yep.
Where we definitely didn't just read an article and decide to film ourselves talking about it to see if you guys would watch.
We're just here to spread information, quality
Value.
value.
I learned that from Gary Vee. Create values.
Yes. So there's lots of values of
Cameras. Leaks.
value in like exposure. You know, like exposure values in our face.
Yeah. Yeah, our exposure is perfect in this room.
Look at that. So
This window light is awesome.
you're welcome
So become a patron because there's a lot more
of this.
where this came from.
This is an experiment.
Is this a bad video?
This is a great video.
It's a good video.
This is a good video.
Thank you for tuning in.
Be sure to like, subscribe
Do that.
for more of this, and let us know what you guys think the megapixel count of the R3 will be in the comments below.
Have a good one.
Bye.